Hello, I'm Jen Hall, the director of Lebert Training Systems and also creator of LTS LeBarre. So imagine, if you will, you're a kinesiology professor. You're teaching a barre-based fitness class at Georgia State University. In this class are 6'5", 220-pound football, basketball, baseball, and tennis players, all there in collegiate scholarship, who have been injured in some way, primarily due to muscular imbalance, meaning their quadriceps and hamstrings are entirely too strong in comparison to their adductors and abductors, as well as gluteus minimus, which is the fan muscle that goes over gluteus maximus, the big muscle. So muscularly imbalanced, humongous athletes in the same class as pre-professional ballerinas. That's right, my friends. Anytime I teach a class at Georgia State in the kinesiology department that has the word movement in it, a bunch of professional dancers or pre-professional dancers come and take it. I so appreciate that. Primarily because I trained as a professional dancer for most of my life and then moved into the fitness arena afterward, so they kind of think I know what I'm talking about. It's nice to be thought of that way. So in the same class with the crazy big humongous athletes and the teeny tiny prima little ballerinas are tenured faculty members. So these are folks who are 60, 70, oldest participant 79, who really need assistance. Like, they need movement that functions for everyday life, how to get up out of a chair, how to lay down in the bed and stand up again, how to really increase their longevity in through their range of motion so that they'll be able to do those things for the rest of their life. So knowing I have to do a barre-based fitness class with these three populations was somewhat of a nightmare. No, kidding. Somewhat of a brainstorm. Because really what I realized is the guys, the big, huge athletes, as soon as they got close to the ballet bar, it was like this thing was a security blanket. So they were gripping it for dear life. So I knew I needed something really short so that they would only be able to touch it when they were actually in a squat or even in a plie squat. With the girls, mostly the pre-professional ballerinas, they were so weak in their upper bodies, most of them could not even hold the plank position. So a plank, would look something like this, or some really horrible variation thereof, not so pretty. So I knew I needed something that would help them not only learn to plank, but just develop their upper bodies in some way, because most of them, they're like this. They're so terrible with their posture from having to hold their shoulder blades back for so long. You'll also notice that they have undeveloped shoulders, just like me, because we just don't use these muscles much in ballet. Going on from there, with our tenured faculty members, they, like I said, really needed help with some of the movements. Like, we would do something similar to a roll-up, and them even attempting that was somewhat painful. So I was actually presenting at DCAC, a fitness conference in DC that I absolutely love, presenting another cardio dance format. And I was running through the trade show, and I see this guy sitting on these. Now, he's a big guy. He kind of looks like my athletes. He's, 6'2", 200 and some pounds. And I stop, and I say, "Whoa, what are those?" And he says, "These are Equalizers." And I say, "Do you have a dance program?" And he looked at me like I had 7 heads. And he kind of shook his head like, "No." And I said, "Do they come in pink?" And he was like, "No, they only come in yellow." So I find out later that he developed the Equalizer actually for pull-ups from the ground. So something like this, a vertical row, something like this, or all kinds of different grips. And then he went on to develop all kinds of different programming using one Equalizer and then 2, but never really envisioned it as a ballet bar. So that's why he looked at me like I had 10 heads. But now we do have a dance-based program. It's called LeBarre. Ta-da! And they come in pink and green and black and almost any other color you want. So again, LeBarre is the Lebert Equalizer plus balance and agility, which is created by only using this as a balance tool and not a balance crutch, okay? Resistance and work and recovery. It's 8 pounds. So you can use it for the stabilizer muscles, okay? So all kinds of different ways. And then also for compound muscular movements, so flowing through bigger strength patterns using all the large muscles. And then the E, of course, is for eloquence. And that's when we use the Pilates-based movement, for example, an assisted roll-up, so they could come all the way up, or a not-so-assisted roll-up, okay? So all kinds of different ways that we use the Equalizer in LeBarre to create a comprehensive bar-based training program like none other. And that is the history of LeBarre. Goodbye.